Hello everyone, Friday, March 20th, 2020. Of course, Wednesday was New Comic Book Day, but like a lot of people, there's no new books to really show right now. We'll kind of get into that later, but like the video stated, I do have some older books I'm going to show, and then a couple comments here at the end of the video. So why don't we jump into some good stuff first, and we'll show some older books. I just, again, pulled these out of boxes. Some of these I've probably shown, some of these I haven't, and some of you may or may not have seen them, so let's do that, shall we? First up, Jason Todd First Robin costume. This is Batman number 366. Real high grade. Always like that cover right there. So there's that. Books that are real hard to find in really higher grade condition. This is Star Trek from 1975, number 32. This is a very fine plus. Could be a little higher because of the difficulty in which I do my grading. So here is that there. Really cool cover. Everybody knows my love of Batman and the Joker, as well as Sergeant Rock and War Comics. So this is a book I have shown a couple of times. This is a very fine, this is a Brave and the Bold, number 84, Sergeant Rock and Batman, done by Neal Adams. Triple threat for me right there. I love this book and try to pick them up every time I see them if I get them in a pretty decent condition. Really high grade version of Amazing Spider-Man 67. This is Romita cover and art. Really cool cover there. From 1964, not a high grade version, but a really nice one. Fantastic Four number 30 in VG condition. This is the intro to Diablo. There's that right there. From 1986, year I graduated high school. Now I'm aging myself. A cover that I just always loved. I remember seeing this for the first time at the shop and just like, that's a great cover. This is Wolverine, Captain America. On the cover, this is Captain America Annual number 8. Just a great, great looking cover right there. Again, not a high grade version of this book, but a really nice book nevertheless. This is Showcase number 55. This is the first Silver Age appearance of Solomon Grundy and the Golden Age Green Lantern first solo appearance right there. Really cool book. Thought out, a sought after book. People like that book. There's that there. Again, another one that I know I've shown a few times, but I get a lot of requests for this one. This is Brave and the Bold number 93, Neal Adams cover. Just a great looking Batman right there. Batman and House of Mystery. I just always love that with the hand coming out, calling Batman to come on in and check it out. 1974, Giant Size Defenders number 1, high grade on this one here. Really cool cover coming through the pages right to you. Strange Tales number 50, another pretty high grade book. I got this as a very fine plus. This is number 150, and this is Buscema's first work for Marvel Comics right here. First work for Marvel Comics. So you knew I was going to grab that one. And then just another really cool book here from 1975, Giant Size Captain America number 1. Right there. And if you don't mind, we got another stack to show right here. Our Army at War, Sergeant Rock, number 198. Joe Kubert, the legend who did most of the Sergeant Rock stuff. This is number 198. I always liked this cover, and this is a high-grade one as well. Can't get away with a little Jack Kirby action. This is Fantastic Four, number 42. I graded this a 7.0. There's that right there. Sorry about the glare on that. Batman, Detective Comics, number 737. Third appearance of Harley Quinn. I got this as a Near Mint Plus from 1999. Just a cool looking cover there. We're going to do another high-grade Fantastic Four 86 from 1969. Jack Kirby, cover and art. And, of course, Dr. Doom. Love me some Dr. Doom, so that's a cover that is a must. Really nice high-grade, well, upper grade 775 of X-Men number 21 from 1966. 54 years old on this book right here. Cool looking cover right there. Daredevil 22. First appearance of Tri-Man. Good color on that right there. Color really pops. Book that I showed in the past. This is A Brave and the Bold. This is number 50. This is the first Martian Manhunter cover outside of Detective Comics. This is only a VG, but a really cool cover. I have higher versions of this one. This is just one of the ones I grabbed. And again, people made comments about how that's just like classic cover right there, kind of simple, simplistic. I like it. I've always liked that cover. One of my favorite books of all time. This is a really high-grade version of this. This is Dead of Night from 1973. Dead of Night number 1. Just absolutely love that cover. Another Jack Kirby cover. This is Thor 163 from 1969. And then last but not least, X-Men 52, another high-grade version of this from 1969. There's that right there. So those are the books I'm going to show today. I'm hoping next week things will kind of get back to normal for me personally, and I'll be able to, you know, get my books in a timely manner and be able to do, you know, a new comic book pickup video. I'm going to go ahead and do the video on Monday as well, telling you what's coming out. You know, just hope for those of you who can. And speaking about that, I know a lot of people here in Nevada especially, they're closing all unnecessary businesses. California currently is in a pretty much statewide, you know, isolation where they're asking people to stay in their homes. I work at a hospital, so, you know, I'll be going to work. But again, like I stated, my wife works in a casino and she's not working right now because they laid all people off due to the casino closures. The only ones really working in casinos are probably security people. So here in Nevada, it's hitting people really, really hard. But with that said, a lot of comic book places, and I spoke to some comic book shops here locally, specifically Cosmic Comics and Fandomverse, and they are both offering what is considered a curbside service where you can pick up your books curbside if you pay online. If you're able to pay online, they have it set up that way. Now, I understand that with this going on, people are going to have to change a lot of things that they do as it relates to additional spending. Comic books, like any hobby, is kind of at the bottom of the financial totem pole when it comes to things that are important, which is, you know, your mortgage, your food, making sure your family has all the necessities, and that should always be number one. You shouldn't be buying books if you don't have the money. And I'm in the same boat. My financial situation is going to be a little different, but I am still going to try to pick up some of my books every week through my shops that I order from, for the simple fact that these businesses get hit just like that. Now, these books that they've ordered, they've been ordering these books, you know, 2-3 months ago, and they're going to keep coming in. Now, if you're able to even buy $10, $15 worth of books, that's going to help every comic book shop locally or even in your community kind of keep the doors open a little bit, because they're getting hit too. They have to lay off employees if they have multiple employees, and they still have to pay the bills. So I do know a lot of people have canceled their boxes, and you know what, you can't argue the fact, because financially, you know, comic books are not an important aspect to some people, but you know, to these businesses, that is their lifeblood. So do what you can, because even like they stated, a lot of your comic book shops, like a lot of places with the bills, they'll work with you, and maybe you get to make some payments or whatever it is, but just don't turn your back and ignore them, because that's not fair to the companies that have to spend, you know, these shops that have to spend, you know, $1,000, $2,000 a week to get their books in because people ordered them and then just decide they're not going to do it anymore. See if you can work it out. Some of you might be able to, some of you might not be able to, but if you can, that would be greatly appreciated. And then lastly, I got a comment from a viewer. I did a video a while back talking about cotton gloves and how I like to use cotton gloves when I look at older Golden Age books and, you know, pre-code books. And there was an individual by the name of the Gamer's Galaxy who kind of put out a pretty nasty comment and just some really inaccurate comments and some information that I felt was just kind of offbeat on him. He basically said that I am misinformed and giving poor information. And he stated that anybody who wears gloves when looking at books is basically doing that for show or because they're ignorant. Now, I don't think I'm ignorant, for wearing gloves. I've been wearing gloves since the 80s. I've been, you know, protecting my books the best way that I can, you know, from sun and things like that since the 70s. But of course, with the, you know, the ability to be able to protect them even more. You know, and I'll try and touch bases on that. First of all, I think that's terrible. He says the only reason you should wear gloves is for black books, you know, black covers on the books. Anybody else who does that, he says, and the reason he does that is because, you know, when you're looking at a book, they're meant to be felt with your fingertips, because that's the sensitivity, you know, finding out the ridges and feeling the true, you know, aspect. And if you wash your hands a couple of times a day by using a non-scented soap and non-grease soap, that's all you need to do. Well, that's your opinion. You're entitled to that opinion. But to sit here and bash me and make a tongue-in-cheek comment because I wear gloves when I look at pre-code books, and I look at books that are very expensive with gloves because the paper quality, you don't want to do anything. But he's saying things like, you know, well, you know, if you wear gloves, you have a better opportunity to drop that book. I've never dropped a book wearing gloves. Since I've been wearing gloves since, you know, the mid to late 80s when I started wearing gloves, I've never dropped a book. You handle books with care. You don't hold a book in your hand, you lay it on the table, but you turn the books with the gloves on. I am always going to wear cotton gloves, and there's a lot of people who say things like that. Just to touch bases, when I told people that I was, you know, triple boarding books, people called me stupid. That's a waste of money. You don't need to triple board books. Now, a lot of people double and triple board their books for the simple fact that they realize it protects your books a little bit more. Is there a cost factor involved? Absolutely. Does it mean that you're doing it incorrectly if you don't do a triple board or a double board? No. You collect the way you want to collect. The way you want to protect your books is your business. I just happen to use double and triple boards. I usually use Mylar on anything that is pre-25 cents or older. I will use Mylar in that. And that's just me. Doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't mean the information that I give on these videos is incorrect. It's just information that I give on things that I like to do. And if a viewer happens to see something that they like, they will also put that into play and maybe, you know, protect their books the same way. Just like when I was talking about CGC years ago, making comments about CGC and their substandard grading practices and how I said it was a money grab, the people came out of the woodworks and called me names about that, saying that I was just a CGC hater and I was just old school because I didn't believe in grading. I just wanted raw books, which is true. I like raw books. I'm not a big graded book guy, but I've also stated in the past that there are certain books you can get slabbed just to strictly protect them from any additional wear. Doesn't mean I'm wrong, but now everybody is now seeing, and CGC's place in the industry has taken a hit the last couple of years. And the people that were saying, you know, all the negative comments towards me about my views on CGC when I was doing videos about that 5-6 years ago have changed the way they have approached that and said, you know what, there's a lot of things that you do say, you know, that is factual and is starting to come into play that you stated a couple of years ago was going to ultimately happen as far as making additional money, whether it's charging for signature series or the special labels they come out with certain titles. That's all a money grab. It's not necessary. CGC can't grade books any better than someone who's educated in grading books. That's why I've always said, grade, you know, educate yourself. So the bottom line is, just because someone does something or tells people the way he does it, whether it's anything, doesn't mean that they're ignorant, doesn't mean that they're stupid. If that's the way you feel, that's your you know, that's your view. Keep that view to yourself, because, you know, there's no sense in going out there bad-mouthing people. We're all one community. We all collect different things. We all protect things differently. So if you don't like the way it's done, that's okay. And again, that's the Gamers Galaxy. So I hope, Gamers Galaxy, that you like protecting your books without gloves and you have a fantastic collection. But I'm going to continue doing the things that I do. And if you think that's ignorant or for show, that's all on you. But that's pretty much all we have. Again, I have a video coming out on Monday. I'm going to do the upcoming videos that people like. And then hopefully we'll be able to get back to a more normalcy in the next few weeks. I hope everybody out there stays safe. Listen to what's going on. Be sure to wash your hands. I work in a hospital. Wash your hands as much as possible. That is the #1 method of keeping the virus away from you. I know we're hearing about it on the news, but just do what you're supposed to do, and we'll get through this like we do everything else. So that's pretty much all we have. I hope you liked the video, but as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great, great day. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week.